Greetings, junior scientists, science and citizens of this great big weird wild wonderful world in which we live. As always, I'm your humble science communicator, the Great Orbex, coming to you from the Department of Physics here at the University of Guelph. And I'd like to welcome you, junior scientists, to our October 2022 Stargazing Guide. October. A month for 8 tentacles, but for stargazers like us, our nights of observable wonder are getting longer and longer. As a matter of fact, sunrise creeps up on us by half an hour this month. The sun won't be peeking its solar flares into the Halloween sky until 8 a.m., while the sunset is almost an hour earlier by October 31st, dropping to a spooky 6:13 p.m. This means we'll have a whopping 14 hours of beautiful darkness, with only the moon, the planets, and the stars to light up our skies and our mind. This month we look for planets, some big bright constellations, and if we're lucky, we might even get to see a few meteors. So let's make sure we're dressed warm and take some time to look up. This month is a veritable cornucopia of planet viewing. A veritable planetopia, or a veritable Anyways, Mercury and Venus are our morning planets this month. Mercury rises early with the best viewing around 6 a.m. on October 8th in the east. Venus follows soon after, rising about 40 minutes or so before sunrise at the beginning of the month. But as the month goes on, it rises later and later, so it becomes harder and harder to see because of the sunrise. Our gas giants, Saturn in the south and Jupiter in the southeast, remain huge in the evening sky this month. We remember that Jupiter was just in opposition in September, so it will remain very bright this month, and actually, you'll be able to see it appear right beside the full moon in October. Mars is rising in the northeast, earlier and earlier in the evening. Until Halloween, we should be able to see the planet of robots rising around 9 p.m. Let's take a moment to look at the stars. Our October skies are jam-packed with constellations. So this is how we're going to study them this month. I want you to take a look towards the southern horizon. If the light pollution is low, you should be able to see Pisces Austrinus, the southern fish. Pisces Austrinus is a faint constellation, but its brightest star, Fomalhaut, is actually one of the brightest stars in the sky. Now, directly above that is the constellation Aquarius, the water bearer. Aquarius is one of the 12 zodiac constellations. It contains the Helix Nebula, which you might recognize from some of the recent James Webb Space Telescope images. Above Aquarius is the constellation Pegasus, which sweeps over to the east. Notably, Pegasus can be spotted by an asterism, the Great Square of Pegasus, which represents the winged horse's body, while adjacent stars comprise the horse's legs and head. Finally, we end our journey upwards in the southern sky with a faint constellation almost directly overhead known as Lacerta, the lizard. It's a small constellation whose brightest stars form a W shape, not unlike when we studied Cassiopeia. Try to see if you can spot each of these constellations this month, junior scientists, and try to see how they move over the course of October. The full moon this month takes place on October 9th, and it's known as the Hunter's Moon by settlers who would have been preparing for the winter season. As a matter of fact, the Hunter's Moon is just the first full moon that takes place after the Harvest Moon, so it can take place in either October or November. Around the Great Lakes region, the Anishinaabe call this moon Benakwe-Gizis, the falling leaves moon. The Cree Nation referred to the start of bird migration by calling the October moon Bimhawepizm, the migrating moon. The Mi'kmaq of Eastern Canada call the October full moon Wigimugus, the animal fattening moon, as many animals start to get ready for their winter hibernation. Now, the new moon this month takes place on October 25th, which not only means that we'll have some very dark skies for Halloween, but it also means that you might have an opportunity to see some. This month, we have 2 meteor showers to look for. The Draconids meteor shower peaks on October 7th this month, as we pass through the debris of Comet 21P Giacobini-Zinner. This is a fairly minor meteor shower emanating from the constellation Draco the Dragon. But as the month goes on, and we get closer to that new moon, we actually pass through the tail of Halley's Comet, which lights up the sky in the annual Orionids meteor shower. This shower, appearing to emanate from Orion the Hunter in the east, peaks on October 21st, and we should be able to see over 20 meteors an hour after midnight. What a journey we've been through, junior scientists. Today's video marks 1 full year of us stargazing together. I can't thank you enough for joining me on this journey and sharing these videos with your friends, your family, and your classmates. I wish you clear skies, my friends, so we can take some time to look up. See you next month, and don't forget to have a science-tastic day. Special thanks to Royal City Science's own planetary geochemist, Dr. Glynis Perrett, for her help preparing our stargazing guide. And the Royal Astronomical Society of Canada.